Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Society. This is my second time um, podcasting for this week since I missed last week. Unfortunately, my buddies aren't here today, so it's just me, unfortunately. um, I'm going to discuss today's topic, several actually, which is first, I'm going to start off with storylines in wrestling. And um, all I can say really is every great wrestling storyline should have a beginning, middle, and end. And the rest is just, um, fill in the blank um, type of deal. It's hard to describe because it's not in a usual um, movie TV format, but either way, uh, it's still at least basically follows the progression of drama. Um, there's tons of storylines that I want to name, but I can't think of any at the top of my head because I've just seen so many good ones to a point where it's almost impossible to highlight which ones are my all-time favorites. But um, there's just so many great epic storylines, and the matches helped unfold them and develop the story. Same with the characters. And uh I like creative storylines where there's all these different elements, supernatural, um family drama, and uh politics sometimes. I can't really think of one particular. Well, maybe those. I don't know. I guess maybe the that storyline with the Undertaker against Muhammad Hassan, revolving around the 9/11 attacks in the WWE SmackDown back in the Ruthless Aggression era. I don't know if that counts. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to say about the storylines in wrestling. Um, I have tons of creative ideas in regards to storylines that I might try out in fan fiction or something, but I don't want to spill them out on um, you know on the podcast. But I love how in wrestling I love how they film some of the segments, like they'll film fights and brawls outside and in people's houses and the most unlikely places, like I think I remember this one segment in the the post Attitude Era when I think Stone Cold tried to run over Triple H or somebody, Rikishi, and then the cops came and they ran into him and then they arrested him, It was crazy. I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but it was just insane how everything went down. And but overall, I think that every storyline should have a big payoff at the end. Um, at the beginning, have I love it when there's those storylines where the face is losing every match and getting cheated out of, and then finally at the last match of the grand finale of the storyline, the face makes his comeback or her comeback, and then it just ends up being flat out epic, like Jeff Hardy and and Matt Hardy. That feud was just phenomenal. And speaking of feuds, I'm moving on to feuds now because I uh, same thing, honestly. When it comes to you know, more on rivalries or whatever the heck, uh, I think that wrestling feuds should have intensity, passion, charisma, violence, and a whole bunch of stuff to them that makes it more, very believable, very exciting. And creativity as well is a huge factor. Um, there was just so many great feuds that that really highlighted all those qualities, like Undertaker versus Mankind, Kane versus the Undertaker, the the whole Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker. There's just so many. I can go all day about memorable feuds, but I also love how around the like it's hard to describe, but like the last portion of the match, the grand, the match that's supposed to end the feud. I love how wrestlers do this epic stare down. I feel like that's fitting because it's not making it look cliche. Stare downs should only happen at a very critical moment, like when you consider the wrestlers' histories and what they had to endure and the level of competitiveness and all these different emotions. That's just what enhances the match and the storylines themselves and whatever the fuse, all that. And also feel like there should be this over dramatic build up to a big payoff at the end. Um, and believability as well. Um, so yeah, that's all I had to say about you know feuds in wrestling. Um, Now on to romance. I've never really been a big fan of romance. I don't know why, but I've just it just didn't really occur to me really. I don't know why people like romance and wrestling. I don't, because for me, wrestling is all about violence. Well, it's not all about violence, but it's mostly about violence and and all these different fighting aspects and competition. So it's pretty difficult for a good um, romance to unfold or whatever. I know Lucha Underground has at least one good romance um, storyline with Melissa Santos and Phoenix, but that's about it. I've never really been a big fan because it just to me it just doesn't look not it's not really that romantic. It's just a guy and a girl getting together and then some drama unfolds or something like cheating or stuff like that. It doesn't really appeal to me as much because I can't really connect with it. But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and that's all I have for you. Peace out.